A principal decision to deploy the Kinzhal in the Northern Fleet has been taken, and preparations are now underway, Defense Ministry representatives told newspaper Izvestia. The sources do not reveal when the new regional infrastructure is planned to be operational. The likely coming to the north of the new missile has been known since Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces Valery Gerasimov in December 2019 met with 150 military attaches from foreign diplomatic missions. Gerasimov then told his foreign guests that a network of airports is under development that will provide an expanded geography for the use of this missile complex, thus hinting that it could be used in the new airfields currently built in the Arctic. Russia is expanding existing and building new runways at least 5 locations in its far north, including Rogachevo in Novaya Zemlya, Nagurskoye and Franz Joseph Land, Sredny in Severnaya Zemlya and Kotelny in the New Siberian Islands. MiG-31 fighter jets are used as carriers of the Kinzhal, and the aircrafts currently based near Monchegorsk, Kola Peninsula, could be applied, Izvestia reports. There are reportedly also plans for the establishment of a new air base in the area. The Kinzhal was first shown to the public by President Vladimir Putin in his speech to the nation in March 2018. The new missile system is similar to an air-carried version of the Iskander land-based short-range ballistic missile. However, the deployment of such a missile on an aircraft gives it a more dangerous strategic position. Unlike cruise missiles launched from an aircraft, the Kinzhal goes ballistic. Like other ballistic missiles launched from silos or submarines, going ballistic via space means hypersonic speed. Test shooting of the Kinzhal took place over the Barents Sea in November 2019. Then the speed of the missile reportedly reached 10 Mach, 10 times the speed of sound. The missile can carry both conventional and nuclear warheads. It is believed to have a range of up to 2,000 kilometers and will pose a totally new military challenge for neighboring countries in the Arctic. On August 10, the Aviator's 2019 international competition as part of the International Army Games 2019 took place at the Dubrovichy testing range in the Ryazan region, Russia. In particular, Kinzhal air-launched hypersonic missile debuted at the competition. Russian MiG-31K interceptors armed with Kinzhal took part in an air show for the very first time. A number of MiG-31 heavy interceptors have been already modified in order to carry the weapon. Russian President Vladimir Putin unveiled Russia's nuclear-capable hypersonic Kinzhal air-launched hypersonic missile system on 1 March 2018, with an operating range of over 2,000 kilometers as one of 6 next-generation strategic weapons. Kinzhal is an air-launched hypersonic missile system with ability to evade any missile defense system. Kinzhal entered testing phase in December 2017 and is one of the 6 new Russian strategic weapons unveiled by Putin last year. As a ballistic missile launched in the air, Kinzhal basically carries existing technologies into a new phase. While many analysts continue to doubt about capabilities of Kinzhal, the weapon seems to be a version of the Alexander M short-range ballistic missile flying at hypersonic speeds. Kinzhal missile is capable of maneuvering autonomously, hitting targets at a range of 2,000 kilometers and flying continuously at high speed to evade any air defense system. The weapon is accelerated by the aircraft, MiG-31K or Tu-22M3 Su-57, to its maximum speed and then launched from the aircraft to activate its solid propellant engine and attain a hypersonic speed of Mach 10. Russia has tested Kinzhal air-to-ground hypersonic missile several times with the MiG-31 fighter successfully, and it is currently mounting it onto the strategic Tu-22M3 bomber in order to extend its range, considering the carrier's combat radius plus the missile's range. The same weapon will be carried with Su-57, but with smaller size. After extensive testing, the missile is currently operational on the MiG-31 fighter at an experimental phase to some extent, but further advancement is underway to expand Russia's use of strategic bombers and stealth fighter. As with the hypersonic boost glide vehicles, this means these missiles could be a game-changing capability, giving Russian jets the ability to launch no or short-notice strikes at long distance against enemy ships or land-based targets. In what appears to be its primary role, it would be a major threat to American aircraft carriers or other warships, which do not have any defenses against such a weapon at present. And again, this capability would be perfect for hitting time-sensitive targets, letting the Kremlin shrinking the time it takes to turn actionable intelligence into an actual response and strike its opponents before they can move to another, possibly less vulnerable location. Putin's efforts to develop next-generation strategic weapons have raised concerns about an arms race among China, the US, and Russia. The latest treaty, which aims to reduce and limit the US and Russian nuclear weapons, the New START Treaty, NST, will expire on February 2021. Unless Russia and the US are to reach a deal before February 2021, NST will collapse to have further and broader repercussions. Russia is in the process of developing missiles which will not fall under prescribed limits of the treaty. In this regard, heavy bombers equipped for nuclear armaments have been clearly defined in NST art.ii as one of the strategic delivery vehicles subject to limits. General John Hyten, commander of U.S. Strategic Command during his testimony before the Senate Armed Services Committee on February 2019, has expressed his worries about new Russian nuclear delivery systems, namely the Poseidon underwater drone, the Burevestnik nuclear-powered cruise missile, Kinzhal air-launched ballistic missile, and the Zircon hypersonic cruise missile. All those fall beyond the coverage of NST. U.S. intelligence officials think the Poseidon will be ready by 2027 at the earliest, and the latest tests of Burevestnik have failed so far. As such, these systems should have little effect on the U.S. short-term deterrence strategy and will not have a decisive role in decision-making regarding extension of NST. On the other hand, Russia will probably deploy a Vanguard and Kinzhal for the duration of the treaty, which will make it a pressing issue for U.S. arms control negotiators. The extension of NST will depend on how it can be used to address a Vanguard and Kinzhal. The agreement provides a clear definition of the weapon systems to which it will be implemented, as well as how new strategic assault weapons can be developed and some options on how to do so. As a result, additional negotiations will be needed for the integration of Russia's new weapons in the making. Both sides may find reasons to interfere, but objective analysis emphasizes a way to limit these two missiles. Kinzhal missile is expected to join the arsenal of Russia as early as 2020, to be deployed with only MiG-31 fighter, which has a maximum flight range of 1,250 kilometers. This allows the system to stay below thresholds defined by NST. However, if Russia successfully mounts the weapon on Tu-22M3 or Su-57, Kinzhal will enable Russia to threaten Europe and the US with this new extended operational range of 7,000 kilometers. Currently, Russia is modernizing Tu-22M3, and the latest version is expected to exceed 8,000 kilometers in range. In other words, if utilized with modernized Tu-22M3s, Kinzhal will violate limits of the NST. The consequences of non-renewal of NST in terms of security will be exceeding Euro-Atlantic zone. Russia is trying to prevail over the US and the West technologically and militarily through its weapons program. It primarily focuses on hypersonic speed and deems this technology has the potential to undermine Western air defense architecture and pose a significant threat to Western security. Russia and China have overcome technological barriers. Other European nations, i.e., Germany and France, seem encouraged to repeat the same example. As the next-generation strategic hypersonic weapons are increasingly affecting modern warfare, more and more nations will probably monitor advanced military capabilities to include in their arsenals in the coming future.